welcome back everyone to the 43rd episode of the Tundra Cast, and happy 1 year anniversary to the Tundra Cast. A year ago, as of this recording, we released our first episode, which was our 2021 NHL mock draft, and now we're doing our 2022 NHL mock draft very early. So we got Rossi and Nick in the call.
So
yo.
And we'll just start at 16. So let's go Nick, then we can go Ross, then we can go me.
So we're starting at the lowest first, are we?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so number 16, I've got my boy Connor Geeky at number 16. He's from the Winnipeg Ice. He's a really good goal scorer. I love the way he's really big as well, 6'4", so he's kind of a do-it-all type player. He's always been ranked pretty highly by a lot of scouts, but he scored really well last year in his rookie year. He's scoring just about the same pace this year, and again, just kind of a do-it-all player with a lot of tools to his arsenal. So I'll have him as 16.
All right.
For my number 16, I'm gonna go with Frank Nazar.
Ooh.
I think he's got kind of like the size you want, especially out of a winger, and he's good for number 16 because he's more of like a project guy. He's not going to be ready year one, but he will be ready eventually. So it'll be just a good luxury pick.
All right, that's fair. Okay, I'm just trying to find my notes. There we go. So my player at number 16, I got defenseman Tristan Leno. He plays for the Gatineau Olympiques out of the QMJHL, only 11 points in 18 games. Lenu strikes me as the type of guy with not maybe the highest ceiling, but, he kind of reminds me, like a guy like Cam York or something like that with, a guy who has for sure second pair potential. Is he a first pair guy in the future? Maybe, maybe not. We'll see, depending what team he goes to. But, this is a guy who's a great skater. He throws his body around a lot. He can QB a second power play, and he's really good in his own zone. There's a lot to like about Lenu here, so I have him at 16. And he's a right shot defenseman, so that's pretty valuable.
All right, so number 15, I have Ty Nelson from the North Bay Battalion. He's an offensive defenseman. He's got a lot of good weapons, especially that shot. He's got a hard shot from that point. He can definitely be a quarterback, a power play quarterback for the future. He's got some top four upside in the NHL, I think, and he's off to a really good start in a really good North Bay team. So he's a very safe pick, I think, in the middle of the first round. So I think he'll go around there.
That makes a lot of sense. I'm going to go with Matthew Savoy.
That's low?
Yeah, he's just fallen a lot. I think for some reason I just feel like he's going to continue to fall, especially since he's only 5'9" at a center, and we know a lot of GMs would rather pick size over actual talent, so I think he'll just fall a bit more. But a lot of it could change depending on what team is selecting where. But
okay.
For now, I'm going to have Matthew Savoy at number 15.
At my 15th, I got Ryan Chesley. This is probably one of my favorite defensemen in the mid-first round, because I do think that he has the potential to be a top pair defenseman. Similar to Lenu, he's a good offensive guy. He's an average size defenseman at 6 feet at 185. But this is a guy who's playing right now in U.S. National Development Team. He's going to play at the University of Minnesota. I think once he gets into those NCAA games, his game's going to really mature. And I don't know. I'm really high on Chesley, And once again, like a lot of defensemen in this draft, he's a right-hand defenseman, so just more value there.
That's something I'm not good at, is knowing what shot a defenseman is. But anyways, moving on to 14, I've got Frank Nazar, who Rossi mentioned earlier. I just love his complete game. He can do a lot of good things in all three zones. But he's naturally a goal scorer. I think he's got a real heavy shot. Sort of your traditional winger. He can really, really drive the net, and he's got some great positioning in front of the net. And he's been scoring quite a bit, obviously. So that's what I have.
I just had him at 16 since, he's a bit smaller. Also, a lot of my draft rankings is more based on who I thought would pick where.
Yeah.
So it's kind of based on like needs for what team I thought would be picking there. But for number 14, I have Sheamus Casey. Just a very, very solid guy, especially for later on.
Yeah. Is that all you have?
The thing is, like, when I was looking at him, I've noticed like something that I really like to look about that I think a lot of like uh fucking GMs would look at and be like, yeah, we want that, especially on defense, is his well, one, he's a right-handed shot.
Yeah.
Two, he might not be the best at driving the plays, but that could get better, and he's pretty good defensively. He'll be playing at the University of Michigan coming up, so that could help. That will help him, and I think he's just got a lot of qualities that GMs would like.
University of Michigan is such a great program.
Yeah.
My number with the 14 is Jonathan Likirimaki. Off to a bit of a slow start in the Swedish Elite League. No points in 5 games, but this is a kid who in the juniors had 29 points in 21 games. I'm hearing everyone from Sweden saying how good this kid is. He's listed as a center right wing, so you can play any forward position. Right hand shooter. I might be getting some Alex Holtz vibes in here when it comes to just his playmaking style, the type of shot he has. Maybe not the best defensively, but I mean, you can't go wrong with a right-handed sniper in the first round. And there's gonna be teams who are gonna look for goal scoring, and I think this kid brings it. So I got Jonathan Likirimaki at number 14.
All right. Well, my number 13 is Ryan Chesley. I think, Shay, you explained Ryan Chesley pretty well, so I don't really have to explain it any further. Again, he could be a top pairing guy, I think, when he's a very complete defenseman. And yeah, that's basically all I got.
For my number 13, is it?
Yes.
Yes. I'm all turned around because we added the 16 pretty late on, so I'm all turned
Yeah.
around.
How many did you have?
I had 15 originally, and then you guys added a 16. And I was just like,
Oh,
oh.
with one player.
For 16, I got Danny Irov. I think that's how you pronounce it.
Yurov, yeah.
Yeah, Yurov. He's a 6'1" left shot right winger. He's looked very good everywhere he's been. The only thing that would kind of hurt his draft stock a bit is his start with the KHL this year, having 0 points in 19 games. But in the NHL, he's got 12 points in 6 games.
Pretty good.
I'm gonna be honest, I forgot about him, but he's really, really good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
He's just I would kind of compare him a bit to Igor Afanaseyev, where he's gonna be that guy who just throws the body and gets in there.
An energy type player.
Yeah.
My number 13 is Sheamus Casey. Rossi basically said all that needed to be said. And yeah, you just need to add some height, add some weight, But he's right-hand defenseman, so yeah, there's that.
All right, moving on to number 12. I have Tristan Luno as my number 12. I love Tristan Luno, man. I think he's got top pairing potential for sure. I've loved him ever since he got drafted first overall. He just has such great composure. He's very calm. He can really strip pucks away from defenders, but he's also very offensively minded. He's a good offensive defenseman. He can quarterback a power play, and he's also a right-hand shot as well. And those are valuable in the NHL. So I think there's no way you pass up on a guy like Luno if you're even lower than 12. There's no way you pass up on this guy. He's just that good.
For number 12, I have Elias Salomonson.
Oh, yeah.
Just again, a 6'1" right-handed shot defenseman. Just a big shot. He's had a rough start this season, only producing. Oh, never mind.
Yeah, I was gonna say he doesn't have that full set at all.
Yeah, I was accidentally looking at his last year SHL.
Yeah.
This year he's off to a 14 points, 19 games, which is very good for a defenseman. He's got speed and puck handling, which is good for a defenseman. And really, the only thing he'll need is just to tighten up the defensive game a little bit. But other than that, he's very talented.
Yeah. My next player is Isaac Howard from Wisconsin, right now in the U.S. National Development Program, 23 points in 20 games. This guy reminds me a lot of Brock Besser in a way. He has a lethal shot. He might have one of the best shots in his draft class. He is so good at puck skills, retrieving pucks, and he's only 5'10", 180, but I mean, I think this kid has like 30 goal potential. This guy is a stud. Like a team like Buffalo, if you need a sniper of Dylan Cousins or Casey Middlestat, you have an extra first round pick, I'd take it on a guy like Isaac Howard. He's just that good at shooting the puck. So, GMs love goal scoring, and that's why I think he goes high.
I like that. Actually, I like that player a lot too. My number 11 is Elias. I gotta remember his name. Elias Salomonson. That's his name. He reminds me a little bit of Edmondson from last year. Kind of a taller, lankier defenseman who's really good at both ends of the ice. Obviously, Edmondson had a little bit questionable defense about him. I think Salomonson has that kind of same. I think he's got a little bit more maturity in his game though, and like you said, Ross, he's off to a really good start in the Junior 20 league for Slavkowski. So I think he's going to be just fine. I think he'll be another safer pick in that first round.
Yeah, my next pick. Once again, a lot of this is based off of what teams I thought would be picking where. So I'm gonna have another right-handed defenseman going since they're a commodity. I got Simon Nemech.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Just he's got the passing ability. He can read defensive plays very well. And you know what? He's got the maturity that a lot of others might not have, even for his age.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's only got I think 9 points in 17 games so far.
Not bad actually.
In the Slovak league. But he's got the puck handling, he's got the defensive eyes, and he's got everything a GM wants out of a defenseman.
Yeah. My next one is David Yurchik. I love this guy. I think he's the best carry in this draft. If you guys see his highlights, this kid can skate. He is amazing. He might have also one of the best slap shots in the league. Like a Shea Weber type shot. It's that good. And he brings an all-around physical presence to his game. This guy does everything correct. Just the thing with me is I don't think I can see him as that top pair guy, but the way he just drives the play fit. Oh, what at that? Okay, is my mic okay?
It's going in and out a bit.
Okay. Is that better?
Yeah, that's a bit better.
Okay. Like the way this guy can drive the play with his skating and his puck movement, and he does so many things right. I think he goes in this top 10. I think he could drop though based off the potential, like the ceiling he has, but he's a good player. I think he's one of those guys who can make the team right away because I think he's almost NHL ready.
Yeah, I definitely agree. So moving on to my top 10 now. My number 10, I have Rutger McGroarty. I really love this kid. He's got size, and he just scores everywhere he goes. This guy scored 82 goals 1 year. Like, he's unbelievable. He's off to a really good start already in the U.S. program. He's got 9 goals in his first 14 games. He's a point per game, almost 2 points per game, actually. I'm very surprised that people aren't ranking him any higher, just because I see a lot of people kind of ranking him in like the 20s or so, and I think he's just such a great player. And I think he's an underrated playmaker as well. But having a big body down the middle who can score goals is kind of becoming, I feel like, more increasingly rare. You see a lot of wingers become goal scorers now rather than centermen. So he's a really valuable player to have. I really like his game.
Yeah, my next pick would be Isaac Howard. I mean, Shea said a lot about him. He's just very good.
Yeah.
There's not much more to say. He's just very good at what he does.
Awesome player. My next pick was actually Rutger McGroarty. So Nick says everything I needed to say.
All right. So number 9, I've got Noah Östlund from Sweden. And I think he's one of the most complete players, if not the most complete, right behind Shane Wright, obviously. Just a complete two-way game. He's so mature for his age. I think he's actually had a late birthday, so he could have been eligible last year. I'm sure he would have gone this high last year. And he can also score. Like he's not a slouch when it comes to that. You know, he can score goals, he can make plays, he can just does everything right on the ice, and just a really good, viable centerman to have in your core moving forward.
For my number 9 pick, I got Rutger McGroarty.
Basically everything.
Everything has already been said. He's just.
We're getting to that territory right now.
Yeah, we're just getting to the territory where it's
a little bit.
Enough said.
My number 9 though is Logan Cooley. Once again, another player in the U.S. national development team. Playing Notre Dame next year, so a pretty good program there.
I think he decommit. I think he's playing for Boston College now.
Is he?
I think so. If I read that right, hang on.
Daubert has Notre Dame. That's weird.
Never mind. Okay, I thought there was a report saying he decommitted, but never mind. Go on, keep going.
All right, he's a great two-way player. You know, he really reminds me of Fyodor Svechkov from this last draft. I think he's just an elite, shutdown two-way guy with a lot of creative skill there. You know, kind of like a Ryan Getzlaf, you know, in his elite years. This guy's going to be a great shutdown centerman who can probably get you 70, 80 points a season. So I have him at 9.
Oh, sorry. Number 8, I have Sheamus Casey. If you look at a guy like Brant Clark from last year's draft, Casey's a pretty similar player. He's got a lot of offensive flair, and I got another right-hand shot defenseman who just has a lot of offensive skill. Very good in the power play, but he's no slouch defensively either. He can really strip pucks away, and he's got really great positioning as well.
Yeah. My next pick is Tristan Lunel. I don't know. There's something about him that I really like. I put him up high.
Lunel.
He's just got something.
I love how we all pronounce that last name differently.
I know. I said Leno.
I said Luno.
And Lunel.
Lunel. Where'd you get Lunel from?
He's not.
I don't know. It's just the way. It's just the way that I would pronounce the A. I guess it's wrong, but it's just the way.
You have to learn the French Canadian way.
I just have like you guys said a lot of what I was going to say about him.
Yeah.
I just decided. Yeah. I just think that he could go a lot higher.
Number 8, I got Connor Geekie. I mean, this kid is just insane skill. Like, he is amazing, and he's playing second center behind Matthew Savoy. The Winnipeg Ice are such a great team.
Mm-hmm.
The defensive side worries me, though. He's not a defensive player at all. He that's the one thing he really struggles in. It kind of gives me Leon Draisaitl vibes, where he is so good at what he does. Like, Leon Draisaitl is arguably a top 3 offensive player in the league, but his defensive game is the worst. And that's why I also kind of see in Connor Geekie, if he can tweak that up, this kid is going to be such a beast, whoever gets him. But you got to play a two-way game in the NHL. But I mean, just by creativity alone, he's like a top 5, top 3 talent. So I got him here at number 8.
All right, well, moving on to number 7. This is where I get into Logan Cooley. I think he kind of, I don't remember who had him. I forget, but you kind of said all the right things. He's a really good two-way player. He's a good goal scorer. He's had a good start there. I honestly don't know too much about him. Like, when he was ranked like number 2 early in the year. I thought that was pretty high for Logan Cooley. So I have him at number 7. Just a two-way guy, and I think you compared him to Ryan Getzlaf. I definitely agree with that, and let's see if he continues his goal scoring.
At number 8, or is it 7?
7.
We're at 7 now.
I lost count. At number
Almost
7.
done.
At number 7, I got Brad Lambert.
Oh yeah.
I mean, what needs to be said about him that hasn't been said before? He's just a solid player that you'd want on your team. And
his production go 2, 3.
Yeah, while just like Savoy and Geekie, he's fallen down a bit. I think whatever team scoops him up is really gonna be glad that they did.
Yeah. My next player is Elias Salomonson. This is one of my favorite defensemen, if not my favorite defenseman in the draft. I know I said that about David Yerchuk and a couple other guys, but I mean it.
It's really good draft for defenseman.
Yeah, and once again, he is right-handed, just like
Mhm.
every single defenseman in this draft, which is good. Teams need right-handed defensemen.
Unless
There's
you're
a lot,
Nashville.
yeah, but like the right-hand defensemen are such a hot commodity, and there's a lot in this draft. So I can see a lot of guys like I can see a lot of the fours dropping simply because of the right-hand defenseman. We saw that in 2018, but Salomonson really gives me a mix of Victor Hedman and Eric Carlson. The elite hockey IQ, the amazing offensive skill, the shutdown presence he has. Like he's going to be a number one defenseman, and he's going to be a future Norris winner. I know like he's not even drafted yet, but this is how good this kid is. I'm going to stick with it. He's my favorite player in this draft, and he's going to be such a stud. I can't wait to see him play his first NHL seasons wherever it is. So whoever gets him, they're getting a hell of a player.
Nice, nice. A player at number 6 that I'm very excited to see in the NHL is Yura Slavakovsky. He's 6'4", 225 pounds. He can throw the body and he can score goals. He just does so many things right. I see him a little bit as Jesse Puljujärvi. Take that for what you will. But he's got tons of points already. Obviously in the Liga, he's got 3 assists, 15 games. You're going to see that from younger players. But I mean, 6'4" is a winger, power winger that can just score goals. What can you go wrong?
Yeah, not much can go wrong. I got Connor Geeky pretty
Yep.
high, but I think he's gonna be like a surprise higher pick because he's playing second line center to Matthew Savoy, so I think a lot of people kind of underrate him. So that's why I think he's gonna go a lot higher.
Okay. My next one is Simon Nemech. Both of you said exactly what needed to be said. I don't think you guys need to hear me. He could probably polish up his offensive game a little bit, but I'm not too worried about that.
Yeah.
All right, number 5, I have Ivan Miroschenko. He's an offensive dynamo, man. He's such a slick skater. He's just all over the ice all the time on every shift. He's got an engine that runs at high RPMs. He just creates offense all the time, and that's really, really valuable, obviously, in the NHL, especially as a centerman. I love the way he plays the game. He's in my top 5.
Yeah, I got Yura Slavakovsky. I know I butchered that again. Sorry. Sorry. But yeah, basically what Nick said earlier. He's just a big power winger, and a lot of GMs are gonna love that.
Yep. I got at number 5 Brad Lambert. Rejected to go 2/3 for a couple years now, but I have him at 5. I mean, I'm not dropping him because he hasn't done great. It's just that there's been so many high risers lately. But everyone knows about Lambert. He brings a great offensive game. One of the fastest players. I think he's faster than Shane Wright. Having a good year in the Liga right now. Well, I mean, 5 points in 19 games isn't great, but you like to see him do a bit more. But I think, as he matures, that'll come. And yeah, I mean, everyone knows about Brad Lambert. He's been talked about for many years, so there's not really much else to say about him.
All right, moving on to number 4, I have Joachim Camel. I think he's obviously had an amazing start in the Finnish men's league. He's got 12 goals in 16 games. I think of a guy like Lundell, who had a really good year in his draft year. I think of a guy like Barkov, who had a great year in his draft year as well in the men's league. He's very skilled. I honestly thought he was a center. They have him listed as a right winger, but he can play center, I think. He's a skilled player. He's very creative, very confident in his game, obviously, from just telling from his scoring. And he can honestly go anywhere in this draft. Like, he can go as high as 2, he can go as low as 10. Like, he's just such a hot commodity, but I think he's a surefire top 10, potentially top 5 pick in this draft.
Yeah.
He's very, very good.
Yeah, for my number 4, I have this Joachim Camel. Exact same thing Nick said. He's just a great player. I mean, it's getting to the point where a lot of these guys are just like too good to not put up here.
He might be like the most NHL ready player in this draft, apart from like a guy like Wright or whoever else.
Yeah.
Number 4, I got Camel. I guess
Hey.
let's go. The first time we all have the same one.
We agree with something.
Well, besides maybe number one, but we'll get
Well,
there.
okay. We'll get there. Number 3, I've got Matthew Savoy. I had him outside, I think, my top 10 heading into this year. I thought that he had a lot to prove. He's a player with a high pedigree. This is a guy that almost got exceptional status, which he, I guess, kind of got because he played 22 games as a 15-year-old. You can't really do that in the dub. But I think he's proved a lot of haters wrong, or I guess haters, but he's proved a lot of people wrong, I think, this year, including myself, which I'm glad he did because he's got such amazing offensive skill, man. He's so good in the offensive zone. He's very raw still. I think he needs a little bit of retooling, especially defensively, and obviously the size, I think, will come eventually for Savoy. But he's just an unbelievable player in terms of his talent. I think he's a top 3 pick when it comes to that.
I think I just noticed. I think I forgot to include Matthew Savoy in my rankings.
That's okay.
I mean,
we'll do an honorable mentions.
I had him at 15, so.
That's about where I had him at the start of the year.
I mean, I had him at 15 just because of how raw he is. I mean.
Well, yeah. Crap. Well, you know what? Just
start over.
Yeah, I'll just start over. No, you know what? I'll just say I'll just say he'll go around 8. So whoever was my 8th pick, just drop them down by 1, which means I have Luno, who I had at 16. I have him at 17. Whatever, mistakes happen.
Yeah. There's been a lot just in this circle.
Yeah. All right, Ross, you go.
My number 3, Logan Cooley. He's you guys talked about him before. He's just got that, and I think a lot of people are underrating him. I think he'll prove a lot more than anything when he goes to Notre Dame.
Yeah.
So I could be, I think his time in Notre Dame will prove if he is fit to be a top 3, top 5 pick, or if maybe we were wrong about him and he's going to be lower.
That's fair. Number 3, I have Yura Slavakovsky. Right now in the Slovak league, not in the Slovak league. Right now in the league, at 3 points in 15 games, so similar to Brad Lambert. Once again, just like anyone that goes in the top 3, unless you're Erica Branson, amazing offensive IQ. I mean, I could see him dropping a bit. He's one of those guys, who wasn't really talked about before this upcoming season. And I think if he continues to have a strong year, puts up the points, he can definitely challenge for the number 2 spot, but we'll see what happens.
All right, the top 2, the nitty-gritty of the draft. Number 2, I've got Brad Lambert. I know he's had a bit of a slower start, but I've said it pretty much all year this year and all year last year. He's just amazing in the offensive zone, man. He's got so many tools. I think he's he can play a few steps ahead of the game. He's got some natural offensive ability that you just can't teach in this game. That's so valuable in the NHL. I think he still has that pedigree of a top-line winger. I feel like people can't be so short-sighted when they look at his stats because you're gonna kind of see, I'm disappointed from this player. Like he's a really good player. I still have really high hopes for him, and he's my number 2.
Yeah, my number 2 is I'm gonna butcher another name, Ivan Miroschenko.
Yeah, I have it number 2 as well.
Call him Miro.
I think when I decided to put him at top 2 for me is when the whole basically shut down for because of COVID. Everybody in Russia was still playing except him, really, and he was behind a lot of his peers. But the second he came back like a bull, and he was just gone. And he was just proving that, even though he missed a lot of time because of it, he just came back in and dominated.
He reminds me of Ovechkin a bit. Like he's a left winger, right shot. He's a tank. Like I know he's only like 185, but this kid is so physical. He goes to the dirty areas. He's just like Isaac Howard. He has an elite shot, great skating. Like this kid is gonna be. I'm not gonna say Ovechkin 2.0 because we said that about Line, but he's gonna be a 40 goal scorer. I'll say that he's so good.
To be fair, Line could have been the next Ovechkin if he didn't start playing Fortnite.
That's true. And number 1, without a doubt,
Jack Hughes.
Yeah, Jack Hughes.
All right, Jack Hughes, number 1. Video's over.
No, Shane Wright. What there's nothing else to say. He got exceptional status at 15, just like Sean Day.
Oh God. Hey man, let's be nice to Sean Day. Like,
but yeah, like
number 1 overall pick.
Number 1 overall.
He's re-entering the draft.
The thing is with Day, he didn't even go first in his draft anyway. He went 4th.
But yeah,
anyways.
Yeah, Shane Wright. What is there to say? Just an elite talent. I can't wait to watch him live at the World Juniors because it's here in Edmonton, so that's gonna be so fun.
Any team that gets him is just gonna.
Unless it's Montreal, they can't do anything with center.
Yeah.
Listen,
if he's in Montreal, I feel bad.
Shane Wright, you're gonna be one of the next greats. Unless you're drafted to Montreal, then you should just.
Here's a question: do you think Shane Wright becomes a McKinnon or like a McDavid? Like, do you think he's as good as McDavid, or do you think he's kind of like on that McKinnon level?
No, I don't think he's going to be a McDavid player. I saw a lot of people comparing him to Jonathan Tavares.
That's fair.
That's a bit of a more fair comparison. He's got a wicked shot, NHL shot, I think, and I think he's just more complete that way. I think than Jonathan Tavares, but I don't think he'll be McDavid. But I think he'll be like at McKinnon level. You know, that high end player.
Yeah. And that's it for today. We'll release a bit more content December. Trust us, we'll be really active during that time. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next time.